Hello and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 420 at scavengerlife.com.
We're a little bit late on this podcast. We're going to record this and get this up today on Monday because we are those kind of people. Consistent.
Consistent, efficient.
If anything, I think consistency wins the day. We just actually spent the weekend in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Yes.
And anyone who is from Virginia will know this town. We've been there before, but this is the first time we've actually spent time in downtown.
I'd never been in downtown, and it's quite a significant downtown. I was like, this place is a city.
I was super surprised about how big it was, and as people being interested in like old buildings and real estate, I mean, it's definitely high.
Oh my God.
These beautiful old brick and limestone buildings, and you can tell the developers there snatching them up, like renovating them into
gorgeous coffee shops, lofts, restaurants, like venues.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Who knew?
Somebody's doing something. That's good.
It's funny. I thought at Lynchburg was all about, at Liberty.
Liberty University.
The Christian college.
Right. So, but what we found out this weekend was that there are actually like 4 or 5 schools right there. I thought it was Lynchburg College and Liberty, and that was it. But there's like a bunch surrounding it as well. So,
yeah. So for us this week, here's the deal. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
It was a super busy weekend for us.
Yeah, we basically worked all day, every day this weekend.
We were attending not a conference, but
a workshop.
A workshop, and it's the second part of one we had done earlier. The state of Virginia is running a workshop on it's rehabbing buildings and houses and trying to get people to do that for our town. It was cool. It was neat.
It was really cool.
We got to, it's kind of like here with eBay with its forum, talking to other people that sell. We kind of got to hang out with other people who are
small developers
redoing small buildings.
I mean, some people are not, I don't consider them small. They're buying $1 million shopping centers.
And I think it's good. We really really had to think and verbally defend the way we are going about buying up property and redoing it and thinking about business models and money. And, it was fun. We got to argue with people and debate.
What's the best way to do it?
Right. And it's just like with eBay. There's no right way to do it. I mean, there's only right for that individual person.
Yeah, and it was interesting to hear how everyone else was going about it in ways I'd never heard of or never understood before. Yeah. It was like, oh.
And I was kind of butting heads with the workshop leader.
One of them, yeah.
Yeah, because he's kind of a big developer kind of guy, and his numbers just did not make sense to me. But it's just like when we argue about eBay, some people are big into just buying brand new items, selling them fast, make 5 cents, but you got a huge operation and we're different from that, and again, it's whatever works for you,
It's just interesting to have those debates. And for me, it's interesting to try to really understand why it works for someone else. Not so much the example you gave with retail arbitrage. I'm like, ugh. But
that's actually wrong.
No, I don't think that's actually wrong. I think I'm not interested enough to pick it apart.
Right.
But to hear other people doing real estate on our level or just a little bit bigger, how do you get money to do it that way?
Right.
Because I can't get money to do it that way. At least I don't think I can.
Yeah. But I think just ultimately, just to bring it back to eBay, I think if you run a small business, it's nice to be able just to talk to other people. I just think the challenge for us is always finding the right group of people to talk to because it's so easy to run into kind of slimy, flim-flam kind of people in anything, in real estate, in eBay, who just really aren't talking from experience, or they're just
they're just talking at a different, it's almost like you're parallel to them. Right. You're we're doing the same job sort of, but not really. Yeah. It's very different. So
we find that it's very difficult finding good groups of people that can honestly talk about things and bring a lot of like humility and also bring a lot of experience and willing to share that.
And we've found several of those people there. So that's another reason. Like one of these guys that we met him at another workshop, and actually we kind of know him through someone else in that world. And just talking to him, he's doing it totally different. But we're like, oh, it's so great that you're here, because we might be doing like different ways of doing this, but we're so similar that we should like trade secrets, or whatever, or just like help each other out just talking about these things. And that is like super important.
So the other thing is we are still trying to finish this new apartment we're working on. We're trying to finish by the end of the month.
I think we will be done
in the next weekish or so. We're almost there. I think it's just, I guess I got to remind ourselves and just anybody out there, if you're working on anything, it often just takes time, and it's so kind of boring. I feel every week we're like, we're still doing it, but there's so many details.
Look, okay, so we stayed in an Airbnb this weekend. It was, this couple. So this should go on Shampoo and Booze podcast, and it will. But just as a note for what you're saying, they are redoing this massive warehouse with all these lofts. They're spending all this money on infrastructure, and we stayed in one of the lofts, and we were like, number one, this is a gorgeous space. They did a great job. It's cozy. It's cool, whatever. All the little details that they were missing made a huge difference.
Or the thing, and
you know what I mean?
Just in case anyone's interested, because we love all of this part of it, she said that they spent $300,000 on this building.
To buy the building.
Right. It was like one of the worst buildings in their downtown, which I think is, a pretty good deal. They say they put in $700,000 into
a lot of money.
Redoing floors.
I wanted to be like, let's talk about where that money came from.
AC, but it's huge. I think it had like 8 apartments or lofts, and they're staying in one of them,
and retail space, like massive project.
But as much as they've done, there really is a difference between getting it to where people can just it's healthy for them to be in there,
right,
versus a place where people are like bragging about how cool it is and with all the details.
It was almost at that level. Like we were there, super comfortable bed, or whatever. This is going on Shampoo and Booze, because we'll go into detail. But so that's why I say, that's why it's taking us so long, because I want to make sure the curtains are right. There are plugs by every bed. There's a light by every bed. Every bed has blah, 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 blah. Like, it's like infinite hooks, like
shampooing rugs.
Like all those things. Like the rugs don't look filthy. Like some of our rugs looked really dirty.
Hooks in the kitchen to hang things.
Just
and
all the little things that you're like, oh, their wine bottle opener was broken. Stuff like that where you're like, okay.
So again, I think we are, so as far as eBay goes, I think we're now a good 2 months into like kind of stepping back from
barely scavenging. Like I had to give my helper stuff to do last week that did not include listing. I was like, this is eBay related, but I need this stuff done.
And our numbers, again, are nothing to brag about. We're probably a couple of months into just pretty slow summer sales. And, it's hard to tell. Is it because we're not really doing much on eBay, or is it because it's a summer? It's probably a combo. But I have to remind myself, this is why we like having a big store, that instead of us stepping back from eBay for a couple of months, instead of our sales just going to
zero,
like $100, we still maintain a healthy amount where we can keep
It's a
going.
pipeline.
Yep. It's a pipeline. So we made, our gross sales were $1,063. And 60 cents.
So we hit our we hit
the $1,000.
And look, so we were away. We left Friday morning. I shipped Friday morning, but we left Friday at like 11 a.m. Just got home Monday morning, and I have like 14 things to ship.
Yeah, it was like
it's not. Look, there's some people listening to this. They're like, haha, 14 things, that's laughable.
Yeah.
I shipped 70 things this weekend.
Good for them.
Which is amazing. I'm always amazed by those people, but that's just different.
We did sell 35 items, and our average price, it was $30.38.
35.
So again, it's like our highest price item was $150
What was it?
military hat.
Oh, it was a hat.
But other than that one big item, most of them are, they're kind of just bread and butter items.
And random and old.
Yeah.
There were some things on that list where I'm like, I have had that. I picked that up from...
Losers. A bunch of losers.
Right. It's like faux losers because you're like, but it did sell, 4 years later for $40.
Yeah.
And I really needed that sale this
They're
week.
like orphans. We find these orphans and we take them home. And we'll
you're
love
like,
them.
somebody found
We'll love
them.
them until someone else buys them.
Yeah.
So I will really only talk about one thing we sold that I thought was interesting, and these are these plates. These like
Dansk.
yeah, these like
The
1980s Dansk plates.
So the funny thing about these Dansk plates is, I love Dansk. You're literally drinking out of a Dansk mug right now, which is funny. So I found this stack of dinner plates at a thrift store. And I just saw them and I was like, those are Dansk, get them all. I had them up for several weeks, almost a month, and nobody touched them. And then they started selling.
And it was
weird.
To me, I would not have gotten them because they're like 80s
But
Dansk,
I personally, like when you and I first met, I had some of these as plates that I used personally, and I was like, I love these.
Right.
I love what they're made out of. They're made out of like fine porcelain. They're made in Japan or Portugal, but they're just they're classic for me. They're
and the way we do it, or the way we normally do it, as we will buy big sets of things and then you break them up. So we sold them 2 dinner plates at a time.
And I think I had 10. So I had quantity 5, pair of 2.
And we've been selling them for $30 for 2, so $15 each.
Yeah.
And so far we've sold 3 or 4
I
lots.
raised the price though.
Yeah. So
I sold 3 lots so far. So they suck to pack. I'll tell you that much. They're 10 inches. There's 2 of them.
Right.
They got to get bubble wrapped in cardboard, put some peanuts, find a big ass box. It's just like, but you know what? I'm like,
is it worth it?
It's $30. So let's do the math. It's $30 a set. I have 5 sets.
$150.
I bought them for a penny.
It was a bag day.
It was a bag day. It was like fine.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. I'm happy to pack them. None of them have broken.
I think too, that's just an example of, I think people have to have like some excitement over the find, finding something that nobody wants and just being excited. Like, we're not going to get rich off of this. This isn't like a well that we can keep going back to. It's not a replenishable item. It's just something cool. If you see a stack that is valuable in a pile of trash that nobody else wants,
a pile of trash.
And it's exciting that you put them up and someone else buys them.
The cool thing is about those Dansk, they're Dansk Bistro for anyone out there. Bolo. They have a particular, like, people who love them, which is me. So I can relate. And they have a pattern. So the most common pattern is Christianhaven, which is just blue and white. But this one is like more fancy. It has like little berries and like flowers on it. So those are harder to find. So that's why I was excited.
And
I was like, I've never seen those ones before.
Dansk
International. So they're not made in Denmark.
Right,
they're made in like Portugal.
They're like IHQ kind,
Which is
like,
international headquarters, which means generally made in Denmark. Anyway,
what you got?
If people are bored right now, I don't blame them.
No, they're not bored. Okay, things we learned in the forum. So Steve Stuff.
Yes.
He's a user in our forum. He says, I get an offer on my phone, or...
Yeah, through the app.
and I want to counter.
Yes.
But I have no way to see how much they offered the previous round.
Because people do, so he's getting either a counter offer or an offer from someone that's offered, days
So
before.
I don't know if I'm about to counter them with a price that's higher or lower.
The same one as before.
Yeah. And he says it should be that anytime he gets an offer, the entire history should be shown to him. And he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's funny he says that because I've always thought that. eBay does, I don't know on the phone, but on the computer, on the... they will show you like declined offers.
But you know what? They kind of hide them. Like they're in a weird menu where you... Also, I think what they do is they don't show you like the full name of people. So you're like, was that
it's
them?
It's like a...
*****
X.
Yeah, and you're like, why is that anonymous to me? The one who they sent it.
Yeah.
It's so old school.
But
like
he is right.
Yeah, I agree.
It should just be, if this is going to be like a back and forth, which I think eBay would be smart to encourage.
Yeah.
Everyone, the buyer and the
should see it.
Seller should be able to see the whole back and forth. And I mean, what would even be cool is that if a buyer makes an offer to me, I should be able to see all the offers that person has given to me on anything. Just to, is
this someone sending me offers?
I mean, I'm sure someone at eBay is like groaning, like, oh my God, like, no thank you. But, eBay has all this data, and that's so valuable. And I know Amazon does such a good job because they have all this data that they show you, and it's a software challenge, and they should just, if they want to compete, I think that data is really valuable, and it would just be cool to see.
Look, it's like when someone buys something.
Right.
And they bought something from you 6 months ago, but hopefully you're making so many sales that you don't.
Tell you that.
Yeah, like, so eBay should be like, hey, they bought a similar item from you 6 months ago. Right. So that maybe you can start an actual relationship with your buyer to be like, hey, I find these Dansk plates every once in a while. Would you like me to let you know when I find them again?
Yep.
That's simple marketing, people.
Okay, customer issues, we really didn't have much.
All right, some returns, and there were clothing, and they didn't blame me, so that's okay. That's nice. It stinks, but okay.
It stinks. So we didn't scavenge. Okay, before we answer questions, I would like to thank everyone for everyone's kind words.
About stuttering.
Yeah, I did the big
reveal. It wasn't much of a reveal because everyone heard you stutter before. But look, it's more about being like, yes, that exists. We're aware of it.
I find like we had like a episode of like Queer Eye for this drink, or was it just Queer Eye now? Where they go and they like find someone that has a problem, and they like talk about it in public, and then everyone be like, oh, we all have problems, and like we're all about it.
Well, actually, and something you did not believe would happen, there were other people that either emailed us directly or went on the forum and they were like, oh, I also stutter.
I was quite surprised.
That happened.
Yep.
And you did not think that it would happen.
I was quite surprised because I really don't meet people in public that I at least can tell that they stutter. So.
Well, I think something we talk about is people hide it.
Yep.
I have there was someone in this business workshop that we took that I'm pretty sure they had a stutter, but they were hiding it. But it was awkward because I wanted
Where?
to... In the
one that we just did?
the business workshop,
okay.
the business, like this is the real estate workshop. I'm talking about business, someone in our class, our business class. And I wanted to go up to him and be like, do you stutter? Jay stutters. And it was awkward because I was like, oh, people are like, I forgot, like people are embarrassed about it and stuff. So I wanted to be like, let's talk about stuttering. Right. Everybody. Just like, oh God.
I will say there was a gentleman that messaged us after a week ago, and he's in his 60s, and he says that he's always stuttered.
Yeah.
He said he's always hidden it, and he had a whole career. He's even had a second job after his first one, and he said that he's made choices in his life where he's purposely not put himself in situations where he didn't feel he could control and hide his stutter. And
right, he would avoid those situations.
I think that's so interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, I
course.
totally get that, and that's just such an interesting thing that, and it's not just with stuttering. There's probably all kinds of things that different people deal with where they want to hide it because they don't want people to know, when in reality, if you just talk about something or you just are who you are, everyone's going to be okay,
Well, yeah.
Everyone's going to support you,
Well, you hope, or maybe I think something you talked about was not everyone has experienced that in their lives where like they were supported because of their anxiety or depression or like whatever all of us humans deal with. Like I've had issues with that stuff before where I was like, I don't want to tell everyone like my anxiety problems, but you're like, oh, but everybody has them. So generally people are gonna.
I do find that people are supportive if you come out and tell people and you're saying, I'm doing something about it. I think people are less interested if you just say, I don't know,
totally. Like I'm going to have a therapy session with like
here's a big
general
problem,
public.
Solve it for me,
Right, but if you're like, I'm working on it, I'm aware of it, it's something I'm like dealing with, Yeah.
But anyway, seeking help is always good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the calls or questions that people sent
you
in.
can call our voicemail line, which plenty of you did this week. The phone number is 540-407-8486. Or you can email us an audio file, which also some of you did this week. Our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com.
Hey folks, this is Eric in Columbia again. I had a question on shipping. I purchased books, and these are volume sets. One of them is like a World War I hardback volume set, 1 through 11 with the index. Very heavy. Obviously you probably have some familiarity with them, 25, 30 pounds, if not more, on some of the, on that volume. There is also like a 24 volume set of a really old Charles Dickens, like all of his, basically his collection. And that's obviously going to be more fragile, but also very heavy. So I had a question about how you ship that. How do you ship it so that you deal with getting it there safely, that there's, with that weight and the fact that they're individual books? I'm thinking, are they going to slide? Are they going to shift? Are they going to, something like that? And then the other thing is, bought some vintage glasses, Pepsi collection, 1976, I think, Looney Tunes, and probably have 13 of them. I've never shipped glass before. I've never shipped books or glass before as far as a volume set or large amounts of glass. So if I offer all 13 and they're bought, what is the best way to ship, I guess, all 13? Or maybe I can break it up into 6. Either way, wondering how to ship, small orders of glassware or larger orders of glassware, actual glasses, Pepsi glasses. I appreciate your help, and I'll be listening for the answer. Keep it up. Thanks.
Okay, so books. I've never sold books in volumes. However, this is my advice for you. Number 1, ship it media mail because they're books and you can ship them media mail and that's cheap for your buyer. The other thing too is, so you said one set is like 1 through 11. So you're going to be shipping several boxes. You're not shipping one box with 11 heavy books. You're going to ship them in several boxes. So what you should do is, what I think you should do is weigh them. So you're like, okay, all 11 are, let's just say all 11 are 50 pounds. Okay. You're going to put that in your listing. 50 or 60 pounds medium mail. So when your person buys it, you actually can print up to 5 labels on eBay from the same order. I've shipped lamps in like 2 or 3 pieces, and I've just been like, label 1, label 2, label 3. eBay will warn you, hey, you already did a label for this order, just so you know. And you're like, yeah, I know. So you would just make it, they're not going to shift around because you're going to make sure they don't shift around. You're going to pack them so that you They're not too heavy. Each box is not too heavy, and they're padded out with like newspaper or bubble wrap or any fill. You're going to fill it. Look, when I was shipping to Amazon FBA, anyone who does books to Amazon FBA, you know you have to fill those sections. And you can't pack the boxes too heavy or the boxes will break. So there's your answer on books. Glass, just for a tip on selling a set, I think you can make more money if you break up that set. Just personally, if it's a collector's, I haven't looked this up, but if it's like Pepsi, Looney Tunes, you said it's 1976, I'm assuming, and I don't know if this is true, there's a different character on every glass. I think you should sell them individually because you're going to make more money. And someone's probably putting a collection together. Oh, I have this one, but I don't have this one. Great. Sell it to them for a better price for a while.
I would say it's tough because sometimes if you break it up, you can see like, oh, I'll make $10 each. And I have 12 of them. Is that really worth keeping 12 of them for 10? All of them. But then again, it's tough to sell 12
and then ship them.
Yeah, I mean, how much are you going to get? And then the more each one is in a box, then the more expensive it's going to be to ship.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. So I generally break things up because you make more money when you break things up, period, end of story. Yeah. But if you're going to do a big old thing of glass or if you're going to sell them individually and pack them and ship them, they have to be double boxed in the floating method. So what you do is, you have this little tumbler, you bubble wrap it, and then you put it in a box or you wrap it in cardboard. Someone was talking about that on the forum today. It was Mike in Atlanta. You take a piece of cardboard and you wrap it up and make a shell. And then you put it in another box and you pad it out like crazy. So that if you were on the second story of your house and you dropped it out the window, it doesn't break.
The second story, wow.
Well, yeah, totally. Yeah, or whatever. I have a deck outside my office, and I always picture myself dropping it off the deck because that's the second story.
I think that
is that extreme?
Well, I think that
is that too extreme?
I think it's actually like a 6-foot drop is the is like what a FedEx says. But
okay.
Anyway,
second story window with an egg in a box. That's the science experiment, right? So. Yeah, that's my advice on packing glass or mugs or anything delicate is you double box it with the floating method. It's a pain in the butt, just like I was saying with those two plates, the pair of plates that I sold. I individually wrap those in bubble wrap. Each plate gets its own bubble wrap. I don't put the plates together and they'll break. I've had that experience. So each one gets their own bubble wrap. Each one gets wrapped in cardboard. And then sometimes I even put those in a box and then put that in a box because I'm paranoid. So the more wrapping, the better because you don't want to have to give people a refund for broken glass stuff.
Hey, Jay and Ryan. My name's Paul up here in northeastern Vermont. I've been listening to shows for years. It's one of my absolute most favorite things on a Monday morning when I drive to work to listen to your entire podcast. I got to hand it to you guys. I really do. Jay, I don't just tip my hat. And more than that, I really salute and honor you and how you handled that whole stuttering thing. You were a gracious gentleman. You were not a jerk about it. You weren't hostile. You were just said, oh, they were probably just ignorant. And you're right, they were. But boy, your light was shining brightly. Truly, I give you credit. And along the same vein, I want to tell you something I picked up from you guys that I incorporated into what I do on my eBay and Amazon business. About a year or two ago, Jay and Ryan, you were talking about a communication with somebody regarding whether it was an issue, a simple question, or a return. I have no idea. But you used the phrase, hey friend. And since then, when I have any interaction with anyone on eBay, I always, first two words are, hey friend. Get them into my boat. Know that I have, no hostilities and just I really want to work out whatever we have to work out. And that's it. And Ryan, I know he couldn't do this without you. I just think you guys are amazing. So listen, keep up the awesome work down there, and I'll listen to you next Monday morning. And you have a great day. Bye-bye.
I love that you mentioned "Hey Friend" because I was like talking to some guy today, and I was like being really rude to him and not saying "Hey Friend" at all
on eBay.
Yeah, because he was like, I literally have a piece of artwork up for $1,500, and he was like, "Would you take $80?" And I was like, "No, literally, just nope." And he's like, "Well, would you take 80 and do less shipping and like ship it this different way to Australia and not?" And I just kept being like, "Nope." And he kept message, nope. And he's like, "Oh, well, good luck." I was like, "Yep."
It was fine. I was watching that conversation, and I think you were perfectly fine. Yeah, no, I mean, look, great. Thank you for the call. I mean, really, I just think it's a good... It's more being friendly to people is more of a selfish thing, because I find if you're just friendly, then people are usually friendly back. I find like 99% of people out there are good people and just...
Also, like, a lot of times I'm just trying to be neutral. Like, with this guy, I wasn't like, how could you ever? I was just like, no.
I think we've always said is that, especially dealing with people on eBay, it's just, we have to remember that people are talking to us in their busy, crazy day.
Exactly.
And if they are upset about like some item, it's usually because they're just angry at their boss, or they
haven't had lunch yet,
or their spouse, or they're angry at their kids. They're having money problems and all this stuff. And so,
totally.
It's not like...
I mean, I'm like that too. I try not to be like that when I answer people, where I'm like, "Oh, this thing just happened, whatever, buyer."
I mean, so we just try not to bend over backwards and like, be a doormat. That's absolutely not the right way to be friendly to people. It's just being like very logical and like, these are the choices, and not buy into people's drama. And
like someone messaged us the other day. I was telling you this, and they were like, "Is this price a joke?" And I literally wrote back, "Yep." No, of course my price isn't a joke, but I have make offer on almost every item. I was just like, yeah, it's a
honestly,
joke.
Though, I think that's kind of an example of you're like poking the bear there. No, look, I talk about something totally different though. We have had a handful of messages lately where people have been like, "Is this price for real?" Because we do price things.
We, a.k.a. Orion.
Very high for things that are like you said, that piece of art, it's up for...
special.
At $1,500. It's like a weird, one-of-a-kind computer art from the 70s. And I hear you. I think it's funny when people are always like, "I just bought one for $70. My answer is always like, keep buying those,
Yeah, buy those ones. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm willing to take lower prices. No doubt.
My whole point, though, is just make sure there's some reality.
Well, I will say we paid over $100 for that piece of art, so I definitely cannot sell it for $80.
Sure.
So,
Yep.
Let's remember that.
Yep.
Auction.
Yep.
Auction prices. Okay.
Where I bought it at an auction.
Yeah, we bought it. Yep. We bought several pieces of artwork, and we were bidding high.
That are gorgeous.
They are amazing, and actually most of them are in our rental right now, and they're insane. Yep. They're gorgeous.
Insanely awesome.
I'm jealous that they are at somewhere that's not my house, but okay. All right, that's it for the podcast. Echo, echo, echo. Check out the blog at scavengerlife.com for links to discuss and join the conversation on the forum. If you're having problems signing into the forum, let me know. I'm going to deny you automatically until you email me that you're a human, because I get so many spam requests. It's awful.
Yep.
Okay, you can leave a question or a comment on our voicemail line. The phone number is 540-407-8486. We post an episode every Monday morning most of the time, but it's Monday afternoon, but that's okay. On Wednesday, we post a What Sells video from Steven Schultz with his doggies, and they're so cute. You can subscribe to our Patreon account, which supports us for as little as $5 a month. You can always subscribe for free on iTunes or YouTube, so you always get the latest episode. We're ending this podcast in 3, 2, 1.
Sell trash, be free.